Hi, welcome to Mother-Daughter Projects. I'm Vicki. Today I'm going to give these 3 vintage lamps a new light. As a kid, I made my own reading lamps through the 4-H electricity project. I got hooked very early on. Rehabbing an old lamp is a DIY-friendly project, produces a useful product when you're finished, and leaves you with that great feeling of accomplishment. Let's get started on these 3. First, let's take apart this milk glass lamp that I found at a yard sale for $2 and we're gonna clean it up. Vintage lamps are particularly easy to work with as their parts easily unscrew for disassembly and the parts are often interchangeable with other lamps. Since this is glass, a little soap and water will not hurt it. I use warm water, not hot, and a little Dawn dishwashing detergent to clean it. An old toothbrush helps to clean up all these grooved areas. If you need new lamp parts, you can find these in the light section at hardware stores. While the pieces were drying, I spray painted the decorative separator as well as the outside parts of the socket. With everything dry, it's now time to reassemble this lamp. Make sure there's a nut on the base of the stem before assembling, otherwise the parts just slide off. Restack the parts as they came off. At the top, screw the bottom of the socket into place. You have a couple of options for wiring. You can reuse the wiring from a new lamp that no longer works. You can buy lamp wiring and wire your own plug, or use ready-to-use lamp wire that comes with an installed plug and the ends that are split, stripped, and soldered. Obviously, this wiring is the easiest to use. Thread the wire up through the lamp, giving yourself plenty of slack to work with. Traditionally, an electrician's knot or underwriter's knot is used to secure the wiring within the lamp. Just for old time's sake, let's make one. Make 2 loops, one where the wire crosses in front and the other where the wire crosses in back. Thread the opposite end into the opposite loop for both sides. Securely tighten up the knot by gently pulling on the wire ends. Now you have the perfect knot. Use needle nose pliers to create a hook in the wire which will be placed over the screw in a clockwise direction. This wire has a ribbed and a smooth side. You can see and feel the difference. The smooth side is hooked onto the brass-colored screw, which is the hot wire, and the ribbed neutral wire is placed around the silver screw. Tighten the screw, keeping the wire tightly around it. Once everything is tight, pull the socket down into the base of the socket, tucking in that knot if you've made one. Add the socket cover and push it down until it clicks into place. Add the light bulb and check your work. This is a fancy light bulb, as you can set the color temperature with this slide bar. Now, onto this Greyhound TV lamp I got on Craigslist. These lamps were popular back when TVs came installed in those giant wood cabinets. My grandparents had one on their TV that was a sailboat. That thing always fascinated me, so I guess that's why when I found this Greyhound one, I had to have it. This lamp, like the other vintage lamps, needed modern, safer wiring. It still had its old socket, which I decided I would replace. It fits very snugly into the small space, so finding a new one proved to be a challenge. The socket I did purchase did not work, so I decided to reuse the old one, but with new wiring. First, I had to remove the old wiring from the socket. The thing to remember with this type of socket is to add the wire through the plastic outer shell before wiring up the socket. The socket is wired the same way. Pre-hook the ends of the wire. Ribbed wire is added to the silver screw. Smooth wire is added to the brass screw. The socket is then pulled down into the cover. The placement of the exit wire is key to getting it to fit properly, and to remember to remove the nut and the twist knob at the end of the stem. Add the socket to the back of the lamp and put the nut and twist knob back into place. Once in place, add a bulb and test it out. I can't tell you how much I like this little lamp. There's a place for plants, but I like it just like this. Next up is this yard sale lamp that I got in a free box that looks like it's from the 50s or early 60s. It's a simple cylinder. I didn't like the brass finish, so it's getting a total makeover. It didn't look like this socket had ever been used, so I'm going to reuse it, but will paint it. I removed it from the rest of the lamp. There are screws inside the socket that release the porcelain outside shell from the rest of the socket. Before painting, I cleaned away decades of dirt with a baby wipe and did the same for the brass-colored shade. I painted everything with Behr spray paint and primer in Gloss Tropics. If you look closely, you can see I stuffed the top to protect the inside of the socket from paint. Here are all the parts I got paint. I'm using lamp wire that is clear this time. I needed more of the insulation to be stripped, so I use a pair of Klein wire strippers. They are so much easier than the pocket knife I used as a kid, and so much safer. The key to wiring this correctly is to be sure the correct parts are threaded on before starting. I had to go back several times as I forgot this part or that part, as well as deciding I wanted the wiring to be threaded through one of the holes in the base before going into the stem. It is important to line up the screws before attempting to reattach the bottom of the socket to the top. After testing, I decided this was way too bright and it needed a diffuser. We had this plastic material that we sourced from a flat screen TV that we took apart, which I thought would be perfect. I cut it to size and added it to the lamp. Much better. Let's take a final look. Each of these lamps is unique in its own way, and I love the look of each one of those, especially that Greyhound lamp, which actually sits down below the picture of Tosh, which is perfect. If you'd like to see more from Mother Daughter Projects, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.